Hi, today I'll be making lasagna, a famous Italian dish, and it's perfect for the Sri Lankan palate as well. I'm going to teach you to make lasagna like a pro from scratch. So we are going to make the pastry, the filling and the sauce. Starting off with some oil, and I'm adding some ginger and garlic and let that fry slightly. To this, I add 2 big onions that I've chopped up. Next, I have all my veggies cut and ready to go. Next, I'm adding the celery, the carrots and the capsicum. I'm going to let it cook in the onions itself. So there is plenty of water from the onions. I'm not going to add any. I'm just seasoning it with pepper, salt. Onions will release the water, and that's plenty to cook these vegetables. All we need to do is just saute them really well. I'm stirring it on and off so that nothing burns. I'm adding some oregano because it gives a lovely Italian flavor. I will be adding more oregano at the end, so I just put a little bit at this moment. Now you can see the vegetables are cooked. Now it's ready for the meat. I'm seasoning the meat with some salt, pepper and chili powder. You need to mix all this up and mix it thoroughly so that it's properly combined. You can mix and keep the meat for about 1 hour. It will be better. Thank you, my darling Virash, for videoing this part. As you can see, my son is helping me to work today. Whenever I see anybody, I drag them to do this video for me. So these are the preparations that you can do ahead to make your job really fast. Lasagna is just assembling everything together. Now the vegetables are cooked and I'm adding the seasoned meat. I'm using about 1.5 kilos of minced meat. I'm going to stir this really well and let it cook because the meat will release its juices and everything needs to cook really well. Make sure to stir it on and off. We don't want anything burning. What I'm looking for is all these vegetables, the meat to release all its juices, and everything is cooking in its own juices. So we have to cook it until it's completely dry. You can taste the mixture at this time and check whether the pepper, the salt is plenty. If not, you can add as you wish. Some people like a lot of salt, so it's up to you how much salt you like. So make sure this is the time to add them. Now when it's really dry, I'm adding the tomato puree. If you have more tomato puree, you could add, because the tomato puree makes the sauce really thick and gives it a lovely flavor and a beautiful color. Let the tomato puree cook really well and combine with the meat mixture. I'm washing the last bit of tomato puree and adding that as well. Now finally, I'm adding a little bit of water because we want a thick sauce. If you have any beef stock, you can add that as well. Finally, a little bit more oregano to give that super Italian flavor. I'm sure you heard that sizzle. You should smell the kitchen right now. It's amazing. It's like a celebration. While I'm getting ready to bake my bechamel sauce, melting the butter and adding some wheat flour, and I'm using a little bit of the pasta water to mix in the sauce initially. So when you make the pasta, make sure to reserve a little bit of the water and don't throw all away. So when the flour has fried nicely with the butter, I'm adding a little bit of pasta water at a time, and I'm using a whisk because I don't want any lumps. Next, I'm adding some milk. Keep on adding milk and keep stirring until you have a nice thick sauce. You also call it white sauce because it's white in color. You keep on adding milk until you get the correct consistency and keep it on a low flame, but please continue to stir. You can see it's getting thicker. You can add some pepper and salt at this time. You can see the sauce is lovely and thick. That's the consistency I'm looking for. But if you leave it out for some time, it can thicken. You have to put a little bit more milk and stir it then. I have already made my pasta dough. I will share the link on how to make the dough. And the best thing about making your pasta at home is you can make the sheets the size you want to. And the best thing is not really that. The best thing is it boils so fast. It tastes really yummy and it's so fresh. Not like the store-bought hard pasta sheets that it takes so long to boil. So here I am rolling the sheets to the thickness and the width that I need. You know me, I want to finish my work really fast, so I'm making bigger sheets so that it's easier to complete my dish. Also watch out, if you're making the strips too big, it's difficult to boil them, so make it into a size that's easy to put it into your boiler. Already I have some water with a little olive oil and salt boiling and ready, waiting to boil my red pasta. Homemade pasta takes only a few minutes to boil. As soon as you put it into boiling water, you will see it coming up. Then it's ready. I'm getting a big Pyrex dish ready to make and assemble our lasagna. So I'm putting some olive oil at the bottom. My hands are clean, so I'm using my hands to rub it all over. Next, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of breadcrumbs. What these breadcrumbs do is, it makes it easy to remove the lasagna once it's baked. It comes out easily. So sprinkle the breadcrumbs all around. So my water is boiling, ready for the pasta, adding a little olive oil and salt. There goes my first sheet. So make sure not to put too many sheets at the same time. I'm putting 3 at a time. If you put more sheets, it will tend to stick to each other and become really messy. Oops, sorry about the video. As you can see, I'm by myself at the moment, doing the video with one hand and cooking with the other. So this is the tricky part. It's a little slippery. Take one at a time and wash it with cold water. And here you have your homemade pasta sheets ready to be assembled. Even though making the pasta sheets at home is a little bit of work, I'm sure in the long run you'll really appreciate it because the taste is amazing and it's really easy to work with. It absorbs all those juices from the meat and it's softer and much more delicious than the store-bought ones. So here I am assembling it. So one layer of pasta sheets at the bottom, and next I'm going to put the meat sauce that I've made. Make sure to cover the bottom properly, all the sides, so you can tear the pasta sheets and cut it into the shapes you want to. Now I am adding my delicious meat sauce. I tasted a little, it tastes amazing. So smells amazing as well. So here I am, very lavish, with the meat sauce. It's quite a thick sauce, so you spread it a little with your spoon or a spatula. Next, it's a matter of layering. So you put a layer of meat sauce, then a layer of bechamel sauce, and once again a layer of pasta sheets. Continue this until you are finished with your meat sauce or your pasta sheets. Or your dish is not deep enough to take any more layers. So that's the secret. Just keep on layering until you run out of something. There is no hard and fast rule on how many layers your lasagna should be, but at least 3 is ideal. If I had a deeper dish, I could have made it higher, but this is a wider dish. That way there is more cheese on top, and I like this dish, so I always use this to make my lasagna. Like I said, the pasta sheets are very soft and easy to tear, so you can tear it to any shape, size that you want to. If you want a really cheesy one, you can put cheese in between each layer too. This is my last layer. You don't have to be really a neat cook as long as you're a good cook. So I think I'm the second category. I just want to do everything so fast. I want to see that it's completed and finished fast. That's me. That's why I always find easy ways to do the hardest things. There goes my layer of bechamel sauce. Make sure to cover every bit of it. I'm going to bake it in a 375 centigrade oven for about 40 minutes. Now I took it out. I can see it's baked and ready. I'm adding all the mozzarella cheese at this moment because I didn't want the cheese to burn, and I'm adding it back into the oven. After a few minutes, I added it right on top on the grill, and now you can see it's a beautiful color. The cheese has melted and looking gorgeous. Well, here it is, my homemade lasagna ready to be served. It's a few additional steps, but every step is worth it when you have that slice of yummy, delicious lasagna. I don't know whether you'll believe me that the whole dish finished in a few minutes. So I'm sure you're going to try this soon. So enjoy the homemade lasagna. Until I meet you next, happy cooking and bye for now. Please subscribe to my channel for more easy recipes.